Alright, so it's the Friday over here in the Netherlands, and what better way than to start this weekend than with an awesome match submitted by the man, the myth, the legend. Spawning here in the bottom left-hand corner of Oxide, we're looking at Florencio's main base. His opponent, or I guess his victim for the day. I know he's been playing on the Korean server quite a bit recently, but I'm pretty sure those are not Korean characters. But regardless, with the blue Protoss probes, we are looking at none other than, I don't know. I mean, I can try, hold up, I can try and use Google Translate. So apparently this translates to something along the lines of Dao K Dao? I'm not entirely sure. Regardless, the blue Protoss player. Now let us see how this particular game will go. So this is a Platinum League game of Zerg versus Protoss that has been played on the Korean server recently. That being said, of course, I don't expect this to be a normal game because Mr. Florencio, I mean, I'm sure you've seen a cast of his before right now, but Mr. Florencio likes to play this game a little bit differently. Alrighty, so relatively quick gas geyser right there and a relatively quick spawning pool. Usually in this matchup, we do see the hatchery first. I do feel, though, that we might very well still see a hatchery coming up, but this time around on the side of the Protoss player instead. Now, already, the Protoss here is not actually walling off the top of the ramp. Generally speaking, there's a reason why we don't see this sort of shenanigans inside of the main base anymore. There it goes, by the way. Usually you go for a wall off over here, and, you know, if you really are feeling creative, you may want to go for the wall over here, but this is already a bit of a problem right now, because say, for example, right, Florencio decides to follow this up with a whole bunch of Zerglings. Just Zerglings with speed, they will be able to waltz right in. Especially now that the Cybercore and apparently the Forge that has been added on as well are inside of the main base too and not attached to the wall up. So already this is a little bit of a disaster, but this is one of the things that Florencio obviously does to his opponents, right? StarCraft 2 is an, well, I was going to say it's an easy game if you know what you're supposed to be doing, but even then it's hard. But especially when you are thrown in a situation you've never seen before. That's curious. Anyways, the game gets harder is what I'm trying to say. Now, apparently, our Protoss here has also realized that he may very well need a form of a wall off. So he's walling off right now as every good old Protoss player would, with 2 pylons, a shield battery, and then 2 photon cannons. So I would say that this one drone, you know, since it canceled the hatchery right now as well, that cost a couple minerals. I mean, there's some lost mining time and whatnot as well. And it forced out a bunch of photons, a bunch of shields, and then also that Forge itself, right? This is already 100% a drone that has paid for itself. I think this Protoss player over here has been cheesed one too many times. It's sad, guys, but it happens, okay? There's a lot of cheese on the ladder. Oh my god, another photon cannon. You really don't need that, my man. You really do not. Anyhow, in the meantime, on the other side of the map, there's a second gas geyser coming up very early for Florencio. Now, I would pretty much always call that a mistake, because that is far too quick for a second gas. As a matter of fact, the standard right now for Zerg seems to be to drone up 3 bases entirely off of just 1 gas geyser, and then you take a bunch of additional gases. That being said, I'm sure Florencio is not just getting it willy-nilly. I love that word, by the way, willy-nilly. So, let's have a look right here at the resources lost, right? 200 minerals lost here in total. That includes the cost of the drone. And it forced out, I mean, we can do the math. I don't really want to do math in a video. That's a terrible idea. But it's 150, 150. That would make 400, 500. That's about 600. About like 1,000 resources, okay? Give or take. Have been forced out here at the cost of about 200. Last time I checked, 1,000 is a bigger number than 200. Now, what is this now? Mr. Florencio, I was gonna give you the benefit of the doubt with that second gas geyser, but what is going on there, dude? So, alright. I feel like there could have been more capitalizing here on this whole situation. Just literally making Zerglings would have been enough, but then again, you never really know what exactly your opponent is gonna go for, right? And you can't really expect them not to wall off either the low ground or the high ground. Now, by the way, you may be wondering, what is the correct response to a proxy hatchery? Well, we've seen it a couple times at the pro level recently, especially in the Bly games. It seems to be a common thing. So generally speaking, what Protoss players tend to do is just make like a zealot and then send, I think, like 4 or 5 probes to attack the hatchery as well. And that's pretty much it. Then they just follow it up as normal. It's a relatively small thing that you actually need to do. But obviously, as a Protoss player that has never seen this before, you may absolutely freak out and think, you know, about all the things that could possibly come out of the hatchery. I'm pretty sure the Protoss player was already, like, envisioning Ultralisks literally being built inside of his main base, right? It's a little bit scary. Anyways, another proxy hatchery is coming out at the front. Interestingly enough, our Protoss here is gonna go for a... What? Wait. Wait, Burrow is coming up. He's gonna go for Phoenixes. I don't like Phoenixes at all, man. Imagine making Phoenixes when you could make Void Rays or Oracles. LUL. Wait, no, this isn't Twitch. LUL doesn't work the same way around here, but doesn't matter. There is gonna be a Zergling run by over here. So Burrow is done. I know Florencio is very fond of getting the Burrow upgrade. The hatchery actually decides to be cancelled once again as well, because I think he already got what he came for. Since... well, Warp Gate actually is done, but he's not actually... oh my god, this Protoss is freaking out, man. We've all been in these games before, right? If you've ever played the StarCraft ladder, you've probably been in a game where your opponent does something you've never seen before. Dude, you should burrow a Zergling. You should burrow a Zergling right over there. And your well-thought-out macro plan completely goes out of the window. The only way you can get better at these kind of games as a Protoss player is playing against it more often. Dude, I really think you should burrow a Zergling. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So, this will prevent the Nexus from coming up here as a follow-up. Now, if I can be critical though, because obviously this is a good game so far here by Florencio, you can see that his macro, once again, is not his strong suit. Yeah, there's a couple missed queen injections. You can see that the queens have got quite a lot of energy on them already. There's a Spore Crawler coming up. A lot of static defense was built as well. But supply-wise, I mean, this should have probably been like a 30 supply advantage at this point here for Florencio. But he's really hindering his own progress here a little, just because the macro is not as clean as we would like it to be. Obviously, it's hard to focus on both micro and macro at the same time. But, you know, since I've been critical of the Protoss player so far, I think it's fair to do the same thing here for the Zerg. That being said, this is Platinum League play, so I don't want to go too in-depth, but there's no denying that having thousands of resources in the bank is bad. Revelation has been utilized right here by the Protoss. So he's going to be able to get rid of that Zergling that was burrowed in... he's going to be able to get rid of those lings eventually, but there you go. A lot of Protoss players forget actually that the Oracle is indeed a detector if you use the Revelation ability. Unlike in co-op actually, in co-op they're permanently detectors. I think, for most of the commanders anyway. I don't know if it's the case for all. Either way, once again, another wall off with those photon cannons is going to be coming up here. And truth be told, I mean, with the way that Florencio has been playing this game so far and the way that I know he likes to play, I don't actually think that's such a bad idea. Just adding on a couple photon cannons right here on the top of the ramp. Yeah. I like it. Okay, so where do we go from here? I really feel like if you're a Protoss player, you want to go double Stargate Void Ray. Like, there is absolutely zero reason these days to go to not go double Stargate Void Ray. It's just better. It's just, like, better in pretty much every single way. If you go for a Robo follow-up here, which is exactly what the Protoss is doing, I like it if you were to secure a third base first. The problem is, you kind of set yourself up for an all-in if you either open up Twilight or Robo too early. So, yeah, like, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of just going for Void Rays. I know it's also one of my main criticisms of the matchups that or of this matchup in particular, actually. Like, I've talked about it quite a bit already. I think it's a bit boring, but, you know, it's definitely the best way to play, I think. Oh my god, did he just... oh god. Oh my god. I guess the Nexus is finishing up. In a way, that's a big pylon, right? He hit a bit of a supply block, but it'll be fine. Now, I believe I saw a drop alert on the minimap. Or, sorry, on the production tab. Okay. There's 2 queens and a drone inside of this Overlord. Not entirely sure what the plan is. Burrow is coming up for the roaches. So, Burrow movement, that is. Aha! Surprise! Brenda and Karen are inside. Now, one thing, actually, that we don't see too often. Yeah, is this what we're gonna see? One thing that we don't see too often, and I wish this was a thing at the pro level, is exactly what Florencio is going for right here. I remember, I think it was TLO that did this back in like 2011, and it blew people's minds. So what you do is you get the Overlord speed, you morph in a drop alert, right? And then you put a couple queens in it. You only really need to put 1 in, actually, it's fine. And then you send in an Overlord to a location where you don't have creep yet, but you want it to be, right? Say, for example, you want to start creeping up over here. You send the Overlord over here, make it poop creep in that location, then drop a tumor, and then obviously you can leave again. It's one of the most underutilized skills that we have ever seen in StarCraft 2, and I wonder if one day it will become standard, because I would not be surprised at all. Anyways, as a follow-up already, Florencio and all his creativity is going to follow this up right now as well with 2 Nidus networks. He's thinking, what's better than one Nidus network? It's 2 Nidus networks, obviously. Already though, on the other side, we do have a Robo, and I do like the Robo Bay follow-up. You know, assuming he would be on third base, or on a third base here, as we already discussed. I do like the idea of going into either Colossi or Disruptors. Both of them obviously are fantastic. If you're going to be going up against Lurkers though, I do think you want to be going up, oh, recall? Okay, yeah, sure. I do think you want to be going for Disruptors instead against Lurkers. Twilight Council right now here. It's such a late Twilight. So there's still no third base. There's still no third base because once again, Burrow has been utilized. I never considered that, like, below, probably, I'm thinking what the cutoff point is, right? But I'm assuming somewhere, like anywhere below Master League, I can imagine that Burrow first is actually kind of OP. Just because most people below Master League have a good understanding of what they should be doing in a standard game. But a standard game of StarCraft 2, for Zerg at least, never really involves Burrow early on. We normally don't see it until Zerg is, you know, going up towards Hive Tech, or at the very least until they have 3 bases fully saturated. I'm actually becoming a big fan of this Burrow first style, and I really wonder if it at some point is going to become a thing. Imagine at the pro level someone would go Burrow first, or maybe Zergling speed first and then leave the drones and gas and go Burrow as a follow-up. We see that regularly right now for Overlord speed. You could get Burrow out really quickly, especially if Void Ray openers remain as popular as they are right now. You could force your opponent to build an Oracle. I mean, not that that is a massive loss, but anyways, it's kind of cool. You could delay the third base for quite a while. Now, this is a good push though here by Florencio, yeah. Gets one of the Immortals. Since Protoss still does not have charge, and since he's got a very small amount of units here. Oh my god, Brenda and Karen here are still going to town. They're still pooping tumors. Oh god, this is kind of cool. Alright, yeah, so he's going to be able to force a bunch of these units back. Third Nexus has finished up in the meantime. Thermal Lens is coming up here as well for the Laser Giraffes, so that's very good. Colossi deal bonus damage against light units, and Hydralisks here are indeed light. Although I do still favor Disruptors in this kind of scenario. I don't mind having a couple of Colossi in the mix at all. Although, oh god, hello, buddy. Buddy. Okay, there's the D. Oh, no. Even if you know where they are, you can't just go and fight them, my man. That's one of the strengths of Lurkers. So what was the idea behind the double Nidus Worm? Florencio, that does not count as macro, okay? That's the Terran equivalent, or the Zerg equivalent, rather, of Terrans queuing up 1,000,000 units. If you queue up 7 Marauders, that does not count as macroing well, okay? Even though you technically spend your money. Yeah. So the money is looking a lot better right now. Florencio's macro actually has looked a lot better after that early game. I guess one big advantage is that he's got, like, no drones. So that makes it easier to spend, right? Oh, alright. Brenda and Karen are really intimidating. So intimidating, as a matter of fact, that apparently they're going to be forcing the council here. Just by being present. Probe's running over to the bottom right-hand corner, but an Overlord is hanging out over here too. Double Colossus on the production tab. So even though supply-wise right now, this is looking really quite good for Florencio, he's not really capitalizing on this very much because he's got, like, no workers, right? So even though Protoss here has only got, well, I guess right now they only have 34 probes, that's really not that much better than, Zerg really doesn't have that much better. And there's really no way that Zerg is going to be able to push up this ramp here anytime soon. Supply-wise, I mean, Florencio's almost doubling his opponent. But I'm doing a lot of attempted math in this video, guys. I shouldn't do that. It's a rookie mistake. But supply-wise, things aren't looking so bad. But it's still a bit of a gamble. Because this Protoss player can make a really powerful army. And you can see, you know, I think in a little bit, how well this army can trade. Assuming Protoss micros this half decently. Yeah, okay, that's kind of the question. So he's gonna go for all sources of splash damage, by the way. Colossi, Disruptors, High Templar with Psionic Storm. It is about time, though, that we go for a third base now, but here we go. This is what I'm a fan of. This is why I love the Disruptors here. Takes 2 Disruptors to kill these things. Good pickup there as well. There you go. Now, look at the creep spread, by the way. So this is not the direction that we normally see. The way Florencio is spreading creep here is backwards. So he's going from his opponent's base in the direction of his own. That is not the way we normally see creep being spread. And I don't know if this is ever going to be a thing at the pro level because it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Right? Maybe it's nice, but you're probably better off just being really on point and connecting all your bases and stuff. But it's kind of a cool concept at the very least to see these things being spread backwards. Now, ooh, I didn't realize that apparently there were 13 additional ones. Oh, there you go. Well, a little bit sloppy there, I guess. But 13 additional... Oh, wait. 13 additional ones? No, 12 additional ones, I guess. Dropalords morphed in too. So Florencio has got most of his army right now inside of these private planes. Must be kind of fun, actually, hanging out inside of one of these Overlord balloons, right? I would like to imagine that all of the units that are inside right now, these 4 Hydralisks, are just jumping around for joy inside of that balloon. Regardless, a couple Hydras here get picked off. And this army here from the Protoss player, it does not mess around. He still doesn't have a third base, though. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen, buddy. You're gonna have to get rid of that creep first. I also really like the fact that there's still a bunch of photons over here on the top of the high ground. A couple lurkers might be moving up, but at the same time, the Protoss player is attacking over at the third base of the Zerg. Is going to be able to deal quite a bit of damage. Keep in mind, he can always recall. And this Protoss player did not forget about recalling earlier, so I'm sure he could still pull that off. Lurkers, though, ooh, they can obviously go into the Dropalords as well and go straight into the main base. Supply-wise, once again, things are starting to look a little bit shaky. We see a lot of resources here for the Zerg. Oh my god. Poor lurkers. Apparently the units, though, have been recalled on over to the natural expansion. Oh my god, a lot of Hydras are derping around. And this is actually a really good trade so far here for the Protoss player. Those photon cannons that we saw him building in the early game, even though I was a bit critical of them, they are actually paying off right now because they're both detectors and they're dealing a bunch of damage. He does need another observer, though. Yeah, I don't think you finish up the Colossus, my man. I think you go for the observer straight up. Okay. Couple Zerglings. Actually, just one Zergling over here. How many kills do you have, buddy? Oh, no, it is 2 Zerglings. He's got 6 kills. 2 and 6. Alright, not bad. If Protoss had a third base here, this would have actually been a good position for him to be in. But I guess his bases are blocked by burrowed Zerglings. Oh my god. Wait, where'd the Observer go? Huh? Wait. Hold up. Can I... What? Wasn't he making an Observer just now? Oh, I think it was in the second robo. Oh, yep. Okay. So he chronos out the Observer right now. And I don't know if this is targeting here by Florencio. I don't think it is. I think he's getting a little bit lucky. But this Observer apparently is just barely not going to come out. And that creates a bit of a problem. He needs another Observer really, really badly. And then he YOLOs in a couple units anticipating the Observer to be out right now. And then he realizes, wait a second, it's not here. This is where surveillance mode is a problem, man. You can see that this Observer is selected. So, you know, he's using the all-army hotkey like a true Protoss professional. However, yeah, there you go. He finally realized that it was in surveillance mode and it couldn't move. That was a buff. Well, quote-unquote buff that they did to Protoss once upon a time. It's very nice, but, can definitely bite you in the butt every once in a while. Okay, so he cleans this up. Now, once more, I'm just gonna emphasize it. Protoss does not have a third base. Mutas? Yeah, okay, sure. Corruptors apparently have come out as well. I like Corruptors a lot better, because Corruptors can get rid of both the Phoenixes and then also, of course, those Colossi. That's enough Corruptors actually to take care of most of this. That natural expansion is gonna fall, and with that, I think all of the economy for the Protoss player is gonna be gone. I mean, you can long distance mine, I suppose. There's 125 minerals inside of the main base still remaining, I guess. One Overlord here added into the mix as well. Florencio thinking that he's playing StarCraft 1 here for a second. There's no Corruptors in StarCraft 1, but in StarCraft 1, in case you're unfamiliar, there's a little trick that you can use to get your Mutalisk to stack up. So it turns out, this wasn't actually knowledge at the beginning of the game, but it turns out if you have Mutas on a control group and you add one Overlord to it as well, you could actually make it so that if the Mutas are far away enough from the Overlord, that they all clump up together in one big spot. So Protoss actually... Wait, how did he clear that creep? Oh, I guess he must have actually used the Observer there. Would not mind seeing this creep over here cleared as well, my Protoss player. Anyways. Yeah, there you go. The problem is that even though I wasn't a big fan of going just Mutas, since those Corruptors are added into the mix too, once those Phoenixes are gone, I'm pretty sure, oh yeah, these Flippy Flappies are gonna be able to change the tide of battle here pretty easily. I'm excited to see where Florencio is gonna be like a year from now, man, with Zerg. I hope he decides to stick with it. So recall is utilized, but where are you gonna go? You're gonna hide in your natural expansion? That's fine. Zerg doesn't really care. Yeah, okay. So he recalls back towards safety. And, well, safety, I guess, was still a base that had no resources remaining. I hope that you enjoyed watching today's video. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I upload videos to my YouTube channel Monday through Saturday. If you enjoy watching StarCraft 2, but also enjoy watching other games, check out my second YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/morelowko, which is where I post completed playthroughs of games that I've streamed on Twitch. I want to thank you for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile, and I'll see you once again in the next one.